now.
What's the email address that I should send the login to?
Hold on a second, let me get it for you.
Susan, I'll put it on YouTube and I'll send them the YouTube link.
Okay,
Well, powering it off must have worked. Because it
There
came
you
up
go.
back okay.
Powering down and powering up can
Yeah.
save, take care of an awful lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, my phone's still suffering is having hot flashes.
What model phone do you have there?
XR.
Well, it's 10, still pretty good yet.
Yeah, but it gets so hot, I have to take it out of my pocket. And I took it to the Genius and they couldn't figure anything out. So I'll just wait until the new one comes out and replace it.
Well, you got a lot of apps running in the background or something?
No,
Huh.
it periodically gets super hot, then cools off.
Well, is it, you got good Wi-Fi connection, or are you running on cellular? What?
I'm running on Wi-Fi here at home and cellular when I'm out.
Is it getting hot at home, or is it getting hot when
Anytime,
you're?
about every few hours, it'll get hot.
that's actually a known bug on the XR.
Thank goodness, I've never seen it.
Yeah, I never had it when I had a 10.
Not a 10, it's just the XR. It was the, it's like the SE version of the 10.
Maybe I ought to go back to the store and let them, maybe a different tech look at it.
If you, all you have to do is Google iPhone XR getting hot, and you'll see a bunch of articles, on suggestions on how to fix it, the overheat issue.
Gotcha. I hadn't done that. I appreciate the advice. I'm a slow thinker at this age.
Yeah, I remember a friend of mine had that same problem with his XR and he just got rid of it
Yeah.
because it
that
was
fixed
constantly
mine.
overheating.
Yeah, it gets so hot that it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's not good.
No,
But I haven't had it that long because I could never have one before.
I don't have a question myself, but a question just showed up on my neighborhood listserv. So maybe I can answer the person if you guys give me the answer. The question is, now that we have Apple's permission to seek repair services for our laptops somewhere other than the Apple Genius bar, does anyone have a recommendation for a competent and reputable MacBook repair business or individual? I think I know what you're going to say.
First
what do you
off,
think?
is it under warranty still?
She doesn't say.
If it's under warranty, she's better off calling up Apple Care and setting up a mail-in, they call it a mail-in repair. They will go through the laptop and fix it and all that stuff. If it's out of warranty, they'll let her know in advance what the charge will be. Sometimes they even offer flat rate repairs, which may be cheaper than bringing it locally.
I'll tell her that. Thank you.
The other choice is Simutech,
I
Which
figured
is-
you'd say that.
which is kind of like going to the Apple store, only they're nicer.
and not having to drive so far.
Yeah, depending on where you're starting from.
Simutech is nicer, and they've been doing it for a longer time than the La Encantada Apple Store has. So they have a really in-depth knowledge to go to base their work on.
And
But
something that's-
the thing is though, for out of warranty repairs, sometimes they're more expensive Because they will charge you a diagnosis fee, which Apple won't.
I just buy a new one.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions? Or are we done here?
Have we started yet?
Have we started yet? How does my voice sound? I'm trying out a new webcam.
Perfect.
Sound okay?
Sounds good, like, a little bit like you're in a barrel, but other than that.
Picture looks good, and it came with a little remote that you can adjust the brightness and the intensity, and you can kill the video or audio with it. So hey, I'm trying it.
How much was it?
I'll have to. I don't know. I'll have to tell you that. I haven't looked it up.
I have a question. I'm having trouble with Safari. It won't work on my Mac Pro. I have to use Firefox.
Oh,
And my question is, how do you reinstall Safari? And can you do it? And how do you do it?
Easiest way that I've seen it is to download what's known as the developer preview and then uninstall the developer preview. Or you could just reset Safari.
How do you
How
do
do
it?
you
What
reset
operate-
Safari?
Tom, what operating system are you on?
I'm pretty sure it's the latest one.
Okay, Safari is on a non-writable partition in I believe in the latest version. What happens when you open up Safari?
It just doesn't go to, it doesn't open up.
Okay, let me see something here.
did you reboot your computer?
Yeah, several times.
Okay, that didn't fix it.
No, it's been this way for a long time. Firefox works fine. I don't have all my bookmarks and stuff, but it's fine.
Wow.
It could be just a corrupt preference file. Do you know how to access your preference files?
Yeah.
Okay, look for something that says com.apple.safari.plist
That's
and delete that,
all right.
and then try launching Safari.
All right. I'll try that. I'm on my iMac now, so I can't.
Oh. Tom, your background, I thought we had the Pope visiting us.
Well, no,
I agree.
that's the mission. I sang there for 20 years at Christmas time.
Yeah, I recognize the background, but with your white shirt and your white hair, you look like the Pope visiting us.
All you need now is the Pope mobile.
Yeah,
There you go.
I can change that if you're really.
Oh, that's fine.
No.
Oh, that's good. It's good.
Yeah. Keep us a little more sane tonight.
We need that.
Yes.
Jerry Gifford, you had a question about seeing past episodes of the T-Mug meeting. I think I answered your question. Were you able to see it?
Actually, I've been busy all day and I haven't had time to look at it,
Oh, okay.
but it is there.
It is there on the tmug.com social media page. There's a link to our YouTube channel. And that's where Roger puts all the successfully recorded videos on the YouTube channel. And then you can get to them from that.
Okay, thank you very much. I didn't know if I had to be a member or what, but I have a daughter that would like to watch that video that Mr. Garrett did a while back.
Yeah, the about Procreate.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, he did a really good job.
I thought he did.
Yep.
Still amazing, it's only $10.
Well, it is, and that's the thing. See, I tried to sell my daughter on a lesser Adobe package. And she says, I'm a professional. I can't use that stuff. So I wanted to see this and see what you can do with Procreate, because I think it's pretty darn good. I watched presentation by Bert Monroy. Don't know if any of you know him.
Yeah.
He's a Photoshop expert. Last night he was on the Silicon Valley user group meeting. So much fun to watch that guy.
I have a question about T-Mog. How's our membership? Are we up or down or holding our own, or what's going on?
Oh, it's, if you, over a period of 10 years, it's way down, but over the last, say, year or so, it's stayed pretty constant, I think.
Okay.
We're low, the numbers are low, but our following is faithful. How's that?
Yeah.
We're just getting old.
That's it.
Well, it's amazing that computer clubs like ours are still going, because
Yeah.
I think we're kind of an exception to the rule.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just the way it is with this generation. They're not too much into the clubs anymore.
Well, all the kids these days have all been raised with a mouse in their hand. They don't need
Yeah,
help.
that's true. Yeah, that's
They have
true.
all the answers.
In the club I lived, am I on? I don't know.
You are.
Okay, when I was living in the villages down there in Florida, when I got there was only 1,000 in the Apple Club. And when I left, there was over 3,000.
Yeah.
Oh.
We had to cancel it. When I got there, we had a Christmas party, but it got so big, you couldn't have a party anymore. There's nothing that could hold them all.
This wasn't the Naples group, was it?
No, that's right there in the villages, just north of Orlando.
Okay.
Because there's over 150,000 retirees in there now. 80,000 golf carts, over 600 golf halls. I'm not a golfer.
Not far from Ocala.
Just south of Ocala, it's about 20 minutes to drive up to Ocala.
How about Lake Weird?
I don't know about that.
That was an old time fishing camp.
Yeah, that's up the road. Yeah, I remember that.
That's where we evacuated after Hurricane Andrew took out Homestead.
Gotcha.
Uh-huh.
Well, I was stationed at Homestead, but not then. I was there during the Cuban crisis.
Aha.
We had to take the
I
airplane.
was 2 years old then.
Yeah. Well, across the street, in my backyard, the Army set up their Hawk batteries. And I had to leave and take an airplane and fly it up. Well, one of the airplanes in the back, no, that was later, up to Michigan to get it away from the range of the Cubans.
The Russians.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
there was nothing left down there.
yeah, the Soviets, yeah.
I have a couple more questions.
Go ahead, Gerald.
When I'm using my iPhone, occasionally, in fact, a lot, I get a little window that says HomeKit setup and it says cancel or use iCloud. Is there a way to get rid of that thing so it doesn't keep bothering me?
Yeah. To finish the setup, you probably have an AirTag or something in your house that is HomeKit compatible, like an Apple TV or a HomePod.
Wouldn't be my studio monitors, would it?
No, those aren't HomeKit compatible.
I have a bunch of cameras. I've got cameras from Wise and from Kuna. Seems like there's another one, but Ring. So I've got those three. around.
Ring's
That's
not
all.
HomeKit compatible unless you hook up a special bridge.
No, I haven't done anything like that. Okay,
But
I'll
you-
do some checking around.
Yeah, usually if you continue to set up, it'll tell you what the device is that it wants you to set up.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. The other thing is, when I moved from Mojave to Monterey, I And to my new computer, I had to leave behind some of my music. I have a whole bunch of albums where I digitized records, the plastic stuff. And they're my favorites. I want to listen to it. So today I finally moved them into the music folder in my Monterey. But is there a way to play those like I did with iTunes, one after the other? Or
Yeah, actually, the way you want to do it is take them out of the iTunes folder. Okay.
okay,
Then go into open up music, tell music that you want to keep your folder organized and to copy music into iTunes.
keep the folder organized.
Yeah,
and
it'll be in the
copy it
settings and music.
Okay,
And then you would take that music, you'd have it on your desktop. Then in iTunes, on the left-hand side, you'll see where it says songs. Or in the music
I
app.
don't have iTunes anymore, do I?
It's called the music.
Oh, just music. Same. Okay.
In the music app, you select songs and then you drag that folder onto the area that lists the songs that are there. And it'll copy it into iTunes and place it in the proper place in your iTunes folder.
I will give that a try. Thank you so much.
And if you have a problem, feel free to email me.
I will do that. Thank you.
But Kevin, when you say iTunes, you actually mean music, right?
Music, right? Yeah, all these changes that are that a lot of us don't think of.
That make no sense.
Right.
Change for change's sake.
It's like the address book being changed to contacts,
There you go.
you know? Hey, Mark. Bye, Mark. Oh, there he is. Anybody else have any questions?
I have one. Do we have anybody that we donate equipment to? Like when I left my old club, we donated to the Boys and Girls Club.
What type of equipment do you have?
I've got about 3 laptops on iMacs. I'm starting to clean out all my closet. Everything I've accumulated over 80 years.
There's a place in town called Keeper of the Grumper, that if you donate equipment to them, they'll refurbish it. And they donate the money to like the Boy Scouts, some choirs and stuff like that.
Repeat what it is so I can write it down.
Keeper of the Grumper. They're on First Avenue somewhere. I've never been there.
Thank you much.
I've taken a bunch of stuff there and they're good people. They don't have a big sign on the street. It's a little hard to find, but they're good people.
It's on the left-hand side of the street as you're heading north.
Gotcha. Well, everybody in my family gives me all their old equipment because I'm the nerd.
I hear you talking.
Yeah.
I have a question. I have an old Mac Plus that sitting in my closet, and a long time ago I saw something about making it into a clock. Has anybody done that?
I've done an aquarium. Matter of fact, I still have the shirt from that.
Well, I haven't been able to get back to the instructions on how to do it. I guess I have to take it into Symboltech and have them do it. No one's made their old iMac or Mac Plus into a clock.
There's an article on Macworld from 2012 on how to do it.
2012.
Put the link in the chat.
In the chat, yeah.
I just
Okay,
put the
hold on
link
a
to the
second.
Keeper of the Grumper in the chat.
Chat. And there's the Macworld article.
There you go.
Kevin,
Yes,
last week, Roger did a bit on the VPNs. And I asked the question, I'm running the beta that Apple has where it hides your IP and stops tracking. Roger didn't really comment much more than it was in beta and he didn't really know too much about it. I could see that it looks like it's doing kind of a subset of a VPN.
not really.
Okay, you want to clarify what?
Okay, what it does is it tries to stop tracking stuff from seeing where you're coming from.
Right.
That's totally different than a VPN. What a true VPN, when you connect to your VPN, all your traffic goes through the VPN, including your DNS queries. So
And Apple doesn't
when
do that?
Apple does not do that. You could
Okay.
limit, they have the option to limit your IP tracking and stuff like that. And they have the hide my email, hide my address. It's like a pseudo VPN. There was another VPN that came out a few years ago that did the same thing as the Apple stuff is doing now. And they claimed it to be the next generation VPN because there's no lag, there's no speed decrease. That means that most of the data is still coming from your computer. It's just hiding some information. And it could be doing it in what you call it, in JavaScript, or it could be doing it something else within the OS, but it's not tunneling all your data through. So if you have to hide my IP through Apple and say you're visiting, I don't know, say the IRS equivalent in China to their website, and you don't want anybody in the US knowing about, or your ISP knowing what you're doing, Apple stuff will not hide that. When you use a true VPN, you're creating a tunnel between your computer, the VPN server, and then going out from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so basically it says it's going through an encrypted server, but that's not the equivalent of a tunnel then.
Well, it's not doing, their hide my is not an encrypted tunnel. It's it sends some of the requests through Apple and then Apple to there and then back to your website, but it's only the headers that are being encoded that way. Because otherwise you're, I'll give you an example. Like I use AirVPN, which is one of the better ones. And with a gigabit down, I still only get 500 or 600 throughput on the VPN. Because you lose about 40%. With Apple's stuff, you would get your full download speed because only the headers are being encrypted, not all the data.
David?
Okay, I'm just looking at, this is in the Safari setup. That's all.
Yeah, David, if I could use an example, I don't know if this makes sense, but when I worked at Stanford, there was stuff that I could only operate from my desk at Stanford, right? So I would use a VPN, and like Kevin said, I would log into the Stanford VPN, and then wherever I went, the world thought I was sitting at my desk because I was inside the Stanford domain, going out to the internet or going out, or you're using the internal software, doing whatever I was doing. Whereas with Apple stuff, it either hides your email address for the email for mail, or in Safari, it somewhat hides your, help me out here, your,
It's the IP address for tracking.
right. So it hides it for tracking. Now there's another browser out there, which is DuckDuckGo, is claiming to do a lot of privacy stuff too. So if that's of interest to people, it's in beta and I've been using it, and it seems to work quite well, actually.
The one, Chris, yeah, the one that I use on my iPad is called Puffin, Puffin. I've been using it probably about 10 years now. It creates an internal VPN in the browser.
Oh,
But
wow.
if you go to a website that actually uses the proper JavaScript to find your location, it will tell you that you're in Tucson.
Hmm.
Some sites it won't, some sites it does. So it's not a tunnel. It's just the way the browser works. On some
Okay.
sites, when you go to it'll say you're in California, other sites say Tucson.
Okay. Well, that's a better clarification than what Roger was able to provide there at his meeting, but that's good. Okay.
One other thing to note on VPNs, using a VPN in your house, unless you're doing things on the dark web or on sites that you don't want to be tracked on, is not recommended because it does slow your internet down. It does give you a 40% speed drop on average.
Yeah.
And some websites don't work properly because they don't know where you're located.
So you don't think your neighbors are looking in on you anyway.
This is bringing up a topic related to the internet. I was in a doctor's office and I could not get on the web from his office. He had internet, other people had internet access. I couldn't get on, despite restarting and doing everything I could think of. Eventually, I thought, well, maybe it was VPN. So the next time I was in his office, I removed the VPN, but I still couldn't get on the internet. So this was on my iPhone, and I have no idea what the problem was. I've actually been having some trouble getting on my iPhone on the internet in various places since that one experience at the beginning of August. But I'm glad to know about the VPN, especially in the house, because I have it on right now. I have Netgear, Orbi and stuff, and they automatically put VPN on, so I will remove it. Yeah.
One of the things, what happens when you're at a doctor's office is that when you log into most free Wi-Fi places, it auto directs you to the web. And you have to agree to it. If you have a VPN on, it will not do that. So what you need to do is make sure, only turn your VPN on when you know you absolutely need it. On my iPhone, I leave my VPN off.
Okay.
Then what you want to do is next time you go to that office, if you can't connect, click the I next to the Wi-Fi name
Okay.
and click on forget this.
Okay.
After you forget the network, then try connecting again. It should bring up a web browser.
Okay.
Once that web browser allows you to connect, then you could turn your VPN on for that site, which I would recommend doing in a doctor's office or anytime you're in public. But that's the only time I recommend using a VPN. A lot of people like leaving the VPN on their iPhone all the time, and it messes with cellular data.
Okay.
So you don't want to do that.
No, thank you, because it was really mystifying me. Not to mention annoying me.
What VPN are you guys running on iPhones?
I use AirVPN and I use the WireGuard protocol. So I just use WireGuard, or I use OpenVPN with some OpenVPN profiles in there.
I have enough trouble with weak cell signals and not getting on Wi-Fi's to add any further complication to it, but
So I have a
Interesting.
question, Kevin. On my
Yes.
wife's computer, I keep getting this pop-up says disk not ejected properly. Eject time machine before disconnecting or turning it off. We can't figure out how to get that thing to quit doing.
Is this when you're doing a backup or after a time machine backup?
It happens all the time when you log on. Almost everything you do, it pops up.
Does she have any drives or anything plugged into the computer?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay, it could be that it's I get that every now and again with Time Machine. If it's doing a Time Machine backup and I put the machine to sleep, It
Mhm.
doesn't continue the time machine. Then when I wake it up, it tells me that the time machine backup was disconnected improperly. And
Yeah,
I
'cause
just
it's-
close that window and ignore it.
He
Is
says
there a time machine drive? Time machine drive connected to the computer.
Yeah, that's a hard drive.
Okay. It could
Right.
be, the cable, the hub, if it's connected to a hub. It could be the enclosure.
It is connected to a hub on the front of the computer.
Okay.
Okay,
I would suggest
machine-
starting by replacing the cable.
well, actually, time machine drive should not go through a hub. That's step one.
Hmm.
Because when your machine goes to sleep, it may not have enough power coming out of the port to power the hub. Especially if that hub has like a SD card reader or something in it.
Okay,
If the hub has its own power source, that shouldn't be a problem.
Correct.
My time machine drive is connected to a USB hub that is powered.
okay.
Yeah, I think a bus powered one probably is not recommended.
Correct.
I think specifically not recommended by Apple, but that may be a long time ago.
Well, I have a lot of clients that use bus powered USB drives and they don't have a problem because they just let the machine sit and they don't put it to sleep. They let them go to sleep naturally.
Right.
Another thing you could check is make sure you have power nap turned on.
Power nap.
Yeah, that's in your energy saver settings. And what that does is it allows a time machine backup to continue if your machine goes into sleep mode.
Okay. All right, thanks.
I never have my machine sleep ever. I mean, unless it's a portable that I close. I mean, my desktop's on all the time.
Yeah. Well, I don't have it. I only use a laptop and I have my servers, which are a bunch of Mac minis. I think you can see them back here. Hold on. Where is
An
it?
Apple hardware
There it
engineer
goes.
told me a couple of decades ago that the machines were designed to run 24/7.
Yeah. See, that's my setup back there, Chris. That stuff's running 24/7.
I don't envy your electric bill.
It's not that bad. The pool drains more than that stuff does,
Oh, okay.
you know.
It's an admirable hardware array there, Kevin.
You like that? Bunch of minis, time machines, NASs. About 50 terabytes of storage,
God.
you know. And I
Gerald
back
has-
it all up. And I keep them on portable hard drives that I back up once a week.
Gerald has a question.
Am I just out of the circle or what? I don't use an IPN and I'm wondering, why do I need one?
What a VPN does
Or
is when
VPN,
you're
I'm
not-
sorry.
when you're not at home and you're on a public Wi-Fi, it just gives you a little bit more protection.
Gotcha. I know people, my son and his wife both use VPNs from home to do work, and that must be the reason for they do that, huh?
Right, what a VPN, they probably tunnel into their office. Another thing that like what I do is you could use a VPN when you travel to watch things like Netflix.
okay.
Because like say you're in Europe and you want to watch something on US TV, you VPN into the United States. And
I
since the
see.
computers think you're in the US, stuff works like you're in the US.
So my travel's been a little limited the last couple of 3 years.
Same as everybody.
Same as everybody.
Thank you.
The big use of VPN is people in mainland China who want to find out what's really going on in the world. And the government there has been trying to stamp out all of the VPNs, but And there are various countries that do that, and VPNs are the answer as long as you can get to them.
Yeah, also, if you're on Comcast and you have a VPN, Comcast blocks VPNs. So
Hmm.
you have to use special ports and stuff like that. If you don't know how to configure it, you could have gigabit internet and on a VPN be no higher than 15 or 20 megabits per second. Unless you configure it properly. I don't know if Cox does the same.
I think that's one of those things where the answer is follow the money.
Right.
If your ISP knows all of the things you search for, all the websites you go to, that's valuable information that they can turn around and sell.
Yeah.
Yes, but can you live with the slowdown of VPN sometimes?
Depends on the VPN that you have and how much slower it gets.
Well, it was noticeable for me, so it was enough. On my home computer, and then I took what you said about if you're at home, you probably don't need it.
Right.
And so that's valuable to me because I did take it off and found improvement again.
Yeah, if you're doing stuff on the web that you don't want to be tracked, it's better off that you use a Tor browser. And that way you're totally anonymized. The only problem with it, I know people that have wanted to use it and log into places like Google, and Google doesn't allow you to be anonymous.
Can you define Tor browser?
Well, Tor browser is a version of Firefox that goes through relays throughout the world so that your location is totally hidden. But again, it slows everything down because you're going through other people's computers. It's torproject.com, I think it is the website. Hold on.
Kind of messes up internet shopping though, Kevin, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can't do shopping. Like you can't go to Safeway and pull up your local Safeway ad on Tor, but it's totally anonymous if you're doing things that you don't want people to know that you're doing. And I just put the link to the project in the notes.
Oh.
What about DuckDuckGo? Doesn't that?
DuckDuckGo is only a search engine similar to StartPage. It doesn't track what you're doing.
Right.
Well, they've got a browser now too.
I like StartPage because it actually uses Google and just drops all the trackers.
I kind of hate Google, period, but
Yeah.
and everything. My biggest problem is the amount of junk mail and trash. I'm just inundated and phone calls that I just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds are blocked and they just keep coming and coming. So I'm just trying to get a handle on where in the hell are they getting all this information other than obviously my email address and something else out there that people are tracking. Now I've been using this beta thing on Safari, and I don't know if I can even say I've seen a decline in the junk that keeps showing up, but that's my big concern. I don't feel like spending a lot of money on a VPN if I got to carry along a bunch of excess baggage at another additional fee. So
Yeah, well, VPNs won't stop any of the junk mail or anything like that.
okay, well that's a good answer right there.
Junk mail comes from somebody cracking into a website. They got your email address and then they just share it.
Yeah,
And once it's out there, it's out there. I get 500-600 spam mails a day.
yeah, that's
And I use a program called Spam Sieve that I've been using,
I do too.
God, probably 20 years now.
Yeah.
And I have it running on one of the Mac Mini servers that I have. So it filters all the mail before I see it. So it deletes it off my iPhone, my iPad, my Mac, because everything's iMac these days.
What's it called?
Spam Sieve.
Yeah.
Made by a company called C Command.
Now, I find that just by using Apple Mail, I can say that if they're not in my contacts, it just goes to junk. And that works pretty good, but I gotta just empty my junk all the time.
Right.
Yeah, I wish somebody would make a plugin that would say anything political in nature just goes to the trash and gets deleted.
Yeah.
You should write it, Kevin.
No, too complicated.
The thing with junk filters is you gotta check for false positives too. Some
Yeah.
people have real problems with that.
Well, that's what Spam Sieve does, is it has what's known as a corpus. You train it what's spam and what isn't
Yeah.
spam, and after a couple of months, it learns really good. I would say in an average 6-month period, I may have one piece of email that gets marked as spam from Spam Sieve. Apple marks stuff as spam more than Spam Sieve would, and that goes to the junk folder.
Yeah, it's, I have to agree. That's what I gotta go through and make sure it isn't something that's important. that it-
Right, and there's no way of turning off Apple junk filtering.
Yeah,
Oh, there isn't anymore?
No, it's done on their server side.
Wow. What do
Yeah.
you pay for Spam Sieve, Kevin?
When I got it in 2005, the developer sent me a copy. I think it's only about $30 now.
Buy
$35, let me see.
buy Spam Sieve, $30. Family or 2 users, $48. I
Yeah,
just put a link to it in the show in the chat.
yeah, and with
Oh.
Spam Sieve, all you do is you select your mail, you say train is good, train is spam. And you go to your spam folder. If something's good in there, you highlight it, you select train as spam. And it has what's known as a corpus. And its corpus and it goes by keywords, senders, and it builds and builds and builds.
I've used it for years.
Yeah. So it's really good.
Can you tell us more, Kurt, about your experience with it?
No, I keep it up to date, and it does whitelist and blacklist stuff so that you can
Right.
tell it, I don't want to hear any more about this, or this one's okay. And so it works okay. I frankly, there are times that I forget that it's even there. And all of a sudden they'll send me an update. And I say, oh, shoot, I've forgotten that. I haven't done anything for this for a while. But my the amount of junk mail I receive is quite low. So it's doing its job.
And it also covers other devices like iPhones and iPads.
Really?
Yeah, I just looked at my corpus. It's the main corpus is 78 megabytes. And the false negatives are 398.6 megabytes.
Jeez.
So, and those are just rules. And that's going back, I don't know, I think I got in like 2005 or something when it first came out. I've had it a long time.
Huh. It's an interesting idea. I mostly just use my iPhone in the morning. I just put it in edit mode and I just scan through everything that's, just mark everything that's junk and delete it.
I just go into my spam folder and I just say select all, delete, boom. Then I get that one. Sorry. You get that message saying that, do you really want to delete 543 emails?
What about 1,950?
well, good to hear that misery makes good company.
So do those companies that send you those emails, do they give up because eventually you're not reacting?
No.
No.
I think they're just robots.
They don't know you end up in your junk. They assume you read it, I guess, because they don't know it ended up in your junk.
Yeah, another thing that I've always thought that Apple needs to do is have a option in mail that any mail that is not in your language automatically gets deleted.
Yeah, that's good.
Because I would say 20% of my spam is in other languages.
Yeah.
Well, you'd need the option for a second or third language if you use those.
Sure.
But yeah, the concept is a good one. Yeah. Be nice on the phone too, if it could detect Mandarin spam. I get a lot of those. And auto warranties. Automatically, all gone.
No kidding.
Yeah, wait until you buy a new house. You'll get even more warranties. You get sewer warranties, roof warranties, air conditioning warranty calls.
Oh, jeez.
You name it.
I keep getting warranties for oil changes on my Tesla.
Somebody's not doing their homework.
Yeah. I got
Make sure
another
you change-
question.
Make sure
We've
you
got a
change
couple of
that transmission
HP
fluid.
printers, and they came with the free 2-year. Well, it was free 2 years worth of ink built into the price of the printers, and now we're getting up close to the 2 years that we've had them. They've worked great. I've gotten a couple of free, so-called free refills. I just learned that they're really large cartridges. It's inkjet. And but what I just learned is that if you don't renew and start paying for the process, those ink cartridges automatically get turned off. So you could have a
I heard that.
yeah, and I'm going like, do I want to continue for the amount of printing my wife does compared to me? I've got it at the cheapest setting, which is like $4 a month if I want to continue this on each one. And I'm questioning, well, let's see, after 12 months, $4, that's about what I'd pay for, an HP
Yeah.
cartridge. So anybody else gotten caught into this decisive?
Yeah, but that price isn't too bad, David. I mean, when I get new inks for my Epson, that's just a little color scanner thing. It's like $55, $60. And I probably do that about every 7 or 8 months. So that's not really a bad price if it's $4 a month, I don't think. Anybody else?
Yeah, and that's what I kind of wonder, but it looks reasonable on one hand. On the other hand, I'm going like, well, I priced on Amazon a 2-pack for this printer, just the standard is like $70. And I'm going, well, you know what? I kind of like these big, the biggest problem we have here in the desert is these inkjets tend to dry out.
Right.
And I had my wife's, she's a teacher, and so she just prints the daylights out of it. But it showed that, hey, I had plenty of ink in there according to their system. They estimate on page use. And I'm going like, they're both dry. But it was real nice is that I texted them and said, hey, they're dry. We live in the desert. And they sent me 2 new cartridges, and the big ones, I go, oh, this is not bad. Took a couple weeks to get them because they just send them by Pony Express, I guess.
Yeah, I would pay for it, and I would also print a little bit more often.
Just
Well,
just run a nozzle check once in a while. That doesn't take much ink.
Yeah, the big thing is that most of the stuff I do is online, and really, other than printing out the grocery list, or occasionally the wife will say, would you print this out for me or copy that? And I go, well, you got a printer up on your computer? Yeah, but I'm downstairs here now. And I go, okay, fine. But she, the thing is, she'll get in there. I have to laugh because she still doesn't understand how to do a screen capture. So she'll look at something on the internet and go like, okay, well, she'll just hold a piece of paper up and trace it on the screen. Oh my God, I'm glad she doesn't do word processing. She'd want to put whiteout on it, but
I was just going to say that.
yeah. showed her so many times how to do it, but it just, to her, it's like, it's a, it's a hand mouse control, is that she starts to doing it and she gets just a little bit of it and then it goes off, and oh, I didn't want that. So she'll fall into the trap. She'll see something in it and I'll print that, and then I'll get 20 pages of, all of the file that went with this thing, and it's just junk, but right now she's getting a little better. She said, will you print this out for me and I'll go up and do it. But the cheapest one they have is $3.99 a month. And so I'll just go with it.
I don't know. if
You got the white out there, Kurt, is what I'm reading there. I can't see it.
I just wanted to show you, it's really hard to do this, but these are bottles of ink for Canon Pixma printer that I've got. This one is the black, and then this is the, you can't see it, but that's
okay.
Those are
That's
the color ones. And, they're big bottles of ink. So that's the black, and this is the color ones. And I've had that printer I got just before, about a year or so before COVID started.
Yeah.
And so it's running just fine. But about once a month or so, I print a color photo just so that to make sure all the nozzles are in good shape.
I did
But
that.
you have a Canon, not an HP, correct?
Yeah.
That's right. Canon Pixma.
HPs have a chip in them that if you use third-party ink, the printer will stop working.
Yep.
So that becomes an issue with that.
Yeah.
I believe there's also some archaic process where they do a page count rather than how much ink you've got. They count the number of pages you print. And so you may have a cartridge that's still half full, and it's gone through its number of pages. So it says, okay, I'm done. And you're not done. You pick up the cartridge, and you still hear ink in it.
Also, as soon as the magenta runs out, if you have separate color cartridges, it says that the yellow and the cyan, they're no good either.
Yeah. It's kind of a racket.
I think it's time to take our break.
Okay.
And come back at about 7 o'clock for the main meeting.